Very excited for Performing Arts Centers and at College of the Canyons. Paul Reiser, actor, musician, writer, etc., is coming to the Performing Arts Center, College of the Canyons, October 5th. I happen to have Mr. Reiser on the phone. Paul Reiser, welcome to the Hometown Morning Show. Very excited to have you here.
Thank you. What are the chances of that? At the very moment you're talking about me, I'm on the phone.
That is amazing.
It's crazy.
It just worked out that way.
Yes.
So over 30 years you have been in the industry, maybe even longer than that, but as far as...
wow, no wonder I'm so tired.
See, no kidding.
Sounds like a huge amount of time.
But not only doing comedy, but I think the first movie that I actually remember seeing and noticing that a man named Paul Reiser exists was in a movie called Aliens, where, spoiler alert, you played a bad guy. It was a dramatic role.
Spoiler alert. I think it's, 25 years. I think it's okay to say it now.
Okay, I wanted to make sure. I don't want to blow it in case anybody's still waiting to catch it.
And you say bad guy, I say misunderstood.
I think so. Perhaps.
Yeah.
You were just trying to do some good.
It's all relative.
But you're writing, of course, Emmy Award-winning Mad About You, that everybody, of course, the iconic 90s sitcom with you and Helen Hunt. A lot of books you've written, and also I just listened to some of the music that you have done with for The Unusual Suspects with Julia Fordham. I thought it was very brilliant.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah, very proud of that. Julia Fordham is a terrific singer, British singer-songwriter whose music I fell in love with, and then we became friends, and on a whim, just said, why don't we write a song? And it came out well, and we ended up with a whole album that, to me, is just another Julia Fordham album. So I sit quietly in the back and play piano. But I was very proud of that. It was, you never know. I don't have any particular ever have a plan in place, and so suddenly a music album came out. So that was quite fun.
I think that's the best way to live life. Just jump in with both feet.
There's no real. Sometimes more often than not, the best things come out of nowhere anyway. And even now, getting back to doing stand-up, I started as a stand-up, but I really hadn't done it. I hadn't been on stage really for 20 years since Mad About You started, and I got busy with the show, and then I got busy with just enjoying being done with the show, and it kind of got put on the back burner till about a year or two ago, and it has been such a surprise how fun it is and how much I missed it. I wasn't really aware. I just kind of went up on stage as a whim a little while back and thought, oh my goodness, I really love this, and so now I've been out and touring and coming to your neighborhood in a couple of weeks. And
have you ever been to Santa Clarita before?
I have been to Santa Clarita. I was actually shooting out in a little film out in, is it Newhall?
Newhall is one of our many little birds.
Out in Newhall. Yes, and I was there, and it was a toasty 107.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's about right. I was going to talk to you about coming back in your reemergence as a stand-up comedian. Now, what we say is the audiences are in a real treat when you hit the stage and unleash your hilarious insights about the absurdities of modern life.
You're reading that from something, I can tell. You're not making that up, George.
I wish I was that clever, really, honestly. But tell me a little bit about what we can expect.
I always tell people I'm not smart enough to make anything up, so I can only talk about what actually happened. But as luck would have it, when I talk about stuff that happens to me, whether it's raising kids or being married for 25 years or suddenly finding that your 50s are different than your 20s, I find out that I'm not the only one noticing these things. So when audiences laugh, hopefully it's because they're going, oh man, that's exactly how it is with me. With Mad About You, we always found that was the great barometer. People would laugh and people would be moved, but the through line was always people relating and going, oh man, we watched that because that's exactly, you guys went through exactly what we went through, and you guys talk about what we talk about. So that's always sort of been my little corner for myself, anyways. Hopefully that when I talk about things and share, that audiences are relating to it and appropriately laughing.
Well, and appropriately. So, is this? Are you? How far along are you on the tour?
Well, the tour is sort of a misnomer.
Okay.
Every weekend I go somewhere. So I'm not really living out of the suitcase, and I don't have the trucks and the bands and the merch concession stands. It's really it's really just been this year, since January, or maybe a little earlier, about a year ago. And I just I I've been going somewhere every weekend. And Santa Clarita is nice because I get to kind of stay home. I don't actually get on a plane, which is kind of nice.
That's good. It's just a little drive, a little scenic drive.
Yeah,
up the
a little
freeway, not bad at all.
drive and tell some jokes and go home.
Well, that's terrific. And speaking of insights and observations, one of my favorite Mad About You episodes was how you infused Alan Brady, which was his own fictional character from the Dick Van Dyke Show, into your show and made the Alan Brady real in the reality of Mad About You.
And it was kind of mind-numbing, actually.
One of the most brilliant half hours of television I've ever seen. I was like blown away by that. So,
Carl Reiner was, he said that he had always been asked to do, be on other people's shows and never wanted to, and was so intrigued by that suggestion that Alan Brady come by. So yeah, that was actually a fun thing. We got to have some fun and sort of homage to the Dick Van Dyke Show in a sideways way.
And also working with his really good friend Mel Brooks as well.
We had Mel Brooks
yes.
Mel and Carl were my comedic icon, my idols, and to get to work with them and get to know them was a thrill. So and to get to be friends with these guys who are so unbelievably sharp, and and Carl is 92, I think, and Mel is getting up to 90, and they're just as funny and as brilliant and as ever.
Incredible. So you've got this. What's next for Paul Reiser?
What's next? I was thinking maybe a little breakfast when I'm done with you, and then perhaps a cup of coffee.
That sounds good.
I'm working on a couple of movies. I was shooting this movie called Whiplash, it's a great little movie, which was out in Newhall, although it doesn't take, I don't know, it takes place in New Jersey, so I guess Newhall was the closest we had.
We are an incredibly diverse area here.
We can function as anything. And I'm working on developing a couple of TV projects, and mostly enjoying going out and doing stand-up. I'm finding that after, the truth is, when you do a TV show or movie, it's so many months and sometimes years in developing and trying to get it done, and then it can be, you have a million people chiming in and so on. And with stand-up, there's none of that. You just get up, tell your jokes, make the people laugh, and go home.
That is,
and the immediacy is fun, and that's what I look forward to every time.
It's that spontaneity, not sitting around a studio.
Yeah, it's just there. You think of something at 3 o'clock, you can try it on stage at 8 o'clock.
Well, sounds very exciting.
Now, I know you have a lot of friends, George, and I just need you to bring 11 or 1,200 to the theater.
I will do my absolute best. I think I can do that. I will.
And by the way,
for you.
Tell your audience that if they heard this interview on your show, they will get a free little piece of paper with their ticket.
A free little piece of paper.
Yeah, well, that shows whether they bought a ticket. The stub. I guess you could call it a stub. But they can keep this stub. That's only for your audience.
That is terrific.
Yeah.
And so you just told them. So that is a special deal.
Little treat that you can keep half of the ticket as a little souvenir.
From Paul Reiser.
That's
as a matter of fact, they don't even at COC, they just scan the stuff.
No, we let you. Oh, maybe then
you
never mind.
Keep the whole thing. But
never mind what I said.
Paul Reiser performing at I should say the Performing Arts Center at College of the Canyons, October 5th. I am going to do my best to be there.
I look forward to seeing you.
And I really appreciate you calling in, and best of luck on everything you're doing.
My pleasure. Thanks for talking, George.
You bet.
The Powerhouse Fire continues to blaze, and 30 homes have been destroyed.
What does the Tilted Kilt brand represent to you?